Ever feel like Japanese is this language you just want to learn,
Mm-hmm.
but then you hit that wall of how?
Yeah.
Today, we're diving into Kuro.
Okay.
It's this whole new approach to Romanizing Japanese.
Right.
And, going through this,
Mhm.
I have to say, it feels like more than just swapping characters for Roman letters.
It is.
Yeah.
And I think you've hit on a key point there.
Yeah.
A lot of systems try to make Japanese, like, writable in English,
Right.
but Kuro aims to make it learnable, you know?
Okay, I'm intrigued. Tell me more.
Sure.
What makes it different?
Well, think about typical Romanization.
Okay.
You see konnichiwa and you try to pronounce it,
Right.
but it doesn't quite match up, right?
Yeah.
Kuro spells it as konniche,
Okay.
literally the keys you'd press to type it.
That's kind of brilliant when you think about it.
Yeah.
It's like it's instantly more intuitive.
Exactly. It's
Yeah.
about mirroring that actual experience
Okay.
of speaking and writing in Japanese,
Right.
but in a way that makes sense for English speakers.
And it sounds like it gets even deeper than that.
It does.
I've seen all these symbols and things
Yeah.
that almost look like musical notation.
Yeah.
What is that?
Ah, yes. That's Kuro tackling one of the biggest hurdles for Japanese learners.
Okay.
Tones.
Okay.
Japanese is a pitch accent language. The tone you use can completely change a word's meaning.
So it's like how in English, a present can be a gift.
Mm-hmm.
Or, like you're in a place,
Yeah,
all depending on how you say it.
you got it. Kuro actually shows you those tone changes visually.
Okay.
For example, hasam means chopsticks,
Okay.
while hasam means bridge.
Wow, that's really cool.
Yeah,
I can see how that would be a game changer,
absolutely.
especially for someone just starting out.
Yeah,
Trying to pick those nuances up
right.
just from listening can be really tough.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
What's fascinating here is that Kuro doesn't just tell you about these nuances. It
Right.
shows you.
Right.
And that visual element is
Yeah.
key to its whole approach,
Ah,
even when it comes to grammar.
All right, let's unpack that a bit.
Okay.
How does Kiro tackle grammar?
Sure.
It seems like a whole other level of complexity.
Yeah, it is.
In English, we have spaces between our words.
Right.
It seems so basic,
Yeah.
but it makes it so much easier to read.
You'd be surprised how many people
I know, right?
never think about that
Yeah,
until they try to learn a language that
Mhm.
doesn't have it.
exactly. And Japanese is famous for that, like
Yes.
wall of text look.
Mhm. It can be so intimidating.
It can be so intimidating.
Yeah.
And that's another area where Kuro really shines, I think.
It does.
It brings in those visual cues, using spaces and symbols
Yeah.
to break down sentences
Right.
and show how they're structured.
That's exactly right.
So it's like it's giving you the blueprints
Yeah.
to the Japanese language.
It helps you see the relationships between words,
Okay.
where phrases begin and end.
Yeah.
So it makes that whole flow of the language
Right.
much clearer.
Okay.
It's like learning to read all over again, but this time with a guide.
This document uses terms like branching and merging
Yes.
to describe how sentences work.
Right.
That sounds kind of complex.
It sounds more complex than it is.
Okay.
It really is more about the visual representation.
Got it.
That helps you make sense of it.
Okay.
Because, like, branches on a tree.
Right. Like I was thinking, it makes me think
Yeah.
of how trees branch out
Exactly.
or rivers merging together.
Yeah, it uses those ideas to
Yeah.
say, like, this is how
Oh, yeah.
the words and phrases are connecting within a sentence.
So instead of just memorizing grammar rules,
Right.
you're actually seeing how they work.
Exactly.
That makes sense.
And not only seeing it,
Yeah.
but understanding the logic behind it.
Okay.
It's like Kuro is saying, hey, this is why Japanese sentences work this way.
Right.
Not just that they do.
I have to say, as someone who's dabbled in Japanese
Mm-hmm.
and gotten frustrated, this is already blowing my mind.
Yeah.
But does it work in the real world?
That's a great question.
Like, can it handle the
Yeah.
more natural, everyday way
Right.
people speak?
Yeah, that's a great question.
Yeah.
And it leads us to another fascinating aspect of Kuro.
Okay.
It doesn't shy away from the messy but wonderful world
Right.
of colloquialisms and idioms.
No, that's what I'm talking about.
Yes, yeah.
Because every language has those expressions
Absolutely.
that don't translate
Yeah,
literally.
they don't, and Kuro tackles them head on.
Okay.
For instance, it analyzes the expression samagaru,
Okay.
which means to act cold or to play hard to get. Okay, and this shows just how deeply it dives into the nuances of spoken Japanese.
Okay, I'm sold on the concept.
Okay.
But let's get practical.
Right.
We've talked about pronunciation,
Mm-hmm.
grammar,
Yes.
even like slang.
Yep.
Can we actually see how Kuro works
Yeah.
with real Japanese sentences.
Yeah.
So we've talked about all this cool stuff about Kuro,
Mm-hmm.
but I have to admit,
Yeah.
I'm a little bit visual.
Okay.
Could we see an example of this in action?
Yeah.
Like, show me how it actually handles
Okay.
like a real Japanese sentence.
Absolutely.
You know?
Imagine you encounter the sentence.
Okay.
Watashi wa hon o yomimasu,
Okay.
which means I am reading a book.
Okay, that's straightforward enough.
Yeah.
How would Kuro break that down?
In Kuro, it would look like this. Okay.
Watashi wa hano yomimasu.
Okay.
See the spaces there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like they suddenly make the sentence like
Right.
breathable.
Yeah.
You can actually tell where like
Yep.
one word ends and the next one begins.
Precisely.
Yeah.
And there's more.
Okay.
Remember those symbols we talked about?
Yeah.
The ones that indicate the tones?
Right.
Kuro integrates those directly into the romanization.
Oh, wow.
So you not only see how the sentence is structured,
Right.
but also how it's supposed to be pronounced.
It's like having a pronunciation guide
Exactly.
built right in.
Yeah. It's like
It's amazing.
it takes all those things that make Japanese feel difficult,
Right.
and it just finds like these really elegant solutions.
Right. It's like, it's so smart.
But from what I've read, it sounds like this is still a work in progress, right?
You are correct.
Okay.
Kuro is an ongoing project.
Mm-hmm.
The document mentions that semantic analysis is still being developed.
Okay, for those of us who aren't, like,
Yeah.
linguistics experts,
Right.
what does semantic analysis even mean
Yeah.
in this context?
Essentially, it means figuring out how to represent
Okay.
the deeper meaning of words and sentences.
Okay.
Not just the literal translation,
Right.
but all the nuances
Oh.
and connotations that come with them.
So it's like taking gyro
Yes.
to the next level.
Exactly. Like, it already helps with pronunciation and grammar,
Right.
but this would add a whole other layer
Wow.
of understanding.
And imagine the possibility. I know.
If Kuro can, like, successfully integrate this,
Right.
it could revolutionize how we translate and interpret Japanese.
Absolutely.
Wow, this is really making me think.
Yeah.
If something like Kuro can be so effective for Japanese,
Mm-hmm.
could similar approaches be used
Right.
to make other languages easier to learn?
It really makes you think.
Even languages that already use the Roman alphabet.
Yeah.
It makes you think about
Mm.
all the ways that we could be teaching and learning languages better.
Absolutely.
Well, this has been a deep dive and a half.
It has.
I'm going to be thinking about this for a long time.
Me too.
And who knows?
Yeah.
Maybe we'll see a Kuro revolution in language learning someday.
That would be amazing.
That would be awesome.
Yeah.